recreating a dish born in the deep bowels of the dark jungles of Rajasthan, jangli maas. Slow cooked mutton falling off the bone in a rich, fiery red curry made with only two spices. Juicy, gamey, smoky, and above all delicious, jangli maas is one dish that you should add to your list of culinary experiments. Hello everyone, I'm super excited today to be cooking this dish because I've never really cooked mutton with only 5 ingredients before. So I'm as excited as you are to try this out. So without much further ado, let's get gobbledygooking. The first key ingredient of this dish is of course the maas or the mutton itself. I have goat meat here, and this meat, it has been taken from the hind leg of a goat because it's lean and it's full of flavor. It also has quite a few bone pieces like this, and this is important because this is what will give the dish its gelatinous texture. The second ingredient and the star ingredient of this dish is, believe it or not, dried red chilies. Rajasthan, where this dish originated, is known for a special variety of chilies which is known as Matthania. I couldn't find that particular type of chili in the US, so I'm using Kashmiri red chilies as a substitute. You can also use other types of red chilies for this recipe. The key point is that the chili should be adding a lot of red color, but it should be low on heat. Then we'll be using some whole cloves of garlic, some desi ghee or clarified butter, and some salt. This dish was originally prepared with uniodized whole crystals of salt, which is very difficult to find. So I'm using regular salt today. Let's get started. Since the meat will be slow cooked, I'm using a Dutch oven for cooking. But any heavy bottomed pan with a lid will work just as well. Adding a generous amount of desi ghee or clarified butter. This ingredient cannot be substituted in this dish and you cannot skimp on the quantity. In fact, some recipes will add up to double the amount I am using. Next, we add the chilies after removing the stalks. Give it a quick 30-second stir and add the garlic. We will stir this long enough to lightly brown the garlic cloves. Now we toss in the mutton and stir it along with the other ingredients until the mutton loses its pink color and turns brown. Adding some salt to taste. We need to add some water to help the mutton cook. I added about 1.5 liters of water for 1 kilo of mutton. But you can adjust according to the consistency of the curry. Believe it or not, you are practically done from your end with the cooking at this point. Now all you have to do is let heat do its job. So cover the pot with a lid and check from time to time to see if the mutton is done. Let's check in after 30 minutes. The chilies are starting to melt and give a reddish tinge to the curry. The mutton is far from done. So we will put the lid back. And while that cooks, here's a bit of history about the dish. The word jangli means forest and maas means meat. So this is really meat that was cooked in the forest, namely game meat. Kings of the princely state of Rajasthan would go hunting in the forests. They would skin whatever game they caught, deer, rabbit, or maybe wild goats, and slow cook the meat for hours in earthen pots using very limited ingredients such as chilies and garlic. The dish originally uses the Matthania chilies, which not only add the fiery red color to the dish but also mask the gamey taste of the meat, replacing it with a smoky sweetness. Now back to our recipe. It has been about 1.5 hours of slow cooking. The curry is now a brilliant red and has thickened considerably. The chilies are completely melted. Let's check a piece of mutton. And you can see it's so tender that it easily falls off the bone. This should be the final consistency of the curry. Rich and gelatinous, but it still flows a bit. Now there are recipes that will tell you to add other spices like garam masala or coriander powder, and they will certainly add their flavor, but we would say to not do that and try this the authentic way for the true smoky flavor. Serve this up with some roti, naan or rice and indulge your senses. Do subscribe to our channel for more such delicious recipes.